Hey, come on. Come on. Hey. What? Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Hey. Let's chit chat, this is the show now. Come on. Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Hey. Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Come on. Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, hey. Let's chit chat, sis. Hey, what's up? Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
So how is everybody doing today? I'm just so excited that we have our previous guest on today. Hey, the goddess.
I'm recovering right now. I went to my first group play session event yesterday. It was a Halloween kink fest at this place called The Farm in Austell, which is an indoor-outdoor exhibit with several different play areas and dungeons. And it was a gathering where the kink community meet. It was about a good 300 of us there between 6 p.m. and 2 a.m. Food was amazing. Hospitality was amazing. You got to meet people from all walks of life and kink. And I got to connect with a lot of the elder doms. Like a guy that I was talking to there, he was 70 and him and his wife go. And they've been very active in the scene for decades. And they're like, this is who I am. So it was really good to see. I'm like, you know what, future me, God willing, if I'm given those years, I'm not going to stop doing what I do. And I felt comfortable and actually
Absolutely
at home. I felt so at home as soon as I stepped out of the car. And I was just like, I found my people. So they definitely hold several big events, but they also hold small munches, which are a gathering, but there's no activities or any type of play scenes there. But it's an opportunity to get to know other people within the kink lifestyle, and they hold stalls like every month. But the big events, I'm going to everything that they have. Atlanta is really big within the kink community, so I'm blessed.
The Atlanta area too. Oh, that means she and I will be doing lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
He's in Atlanta.
So I was about to ask you, is in Atlanta,
Yeah, like Atlanta.
And you're saying kink community, like kinky, kink community. Wow. That is the first time I've even heard of a kink community. So I gotta ask you, like, was a lot of blacks, whites, mixed, Asians,
It was
everybody,
a
or
lot of mixed. They do like this sort of event that I went to, it was a little bit of mix. There were definitely a little bit more white people there, but it was refreshing to see people who look like me there
got
for
you?
these
Yeah.
types of events. And they're really big on, I can say this, inclusion. Like they're big on welcoming everybody. Like some
That's good.
people have been there 4 or 5 big events at the farm, and they're like, I haven't seen you before. Is it your first time? They'll come up and talk to you and be like, nice to meet you. Let me know if you need anything. Add me on FetLife, which I definitely was able to do. And they're like, there are also POC events, people of color. There is a Black-owned dungeon in south side of ATL called Dark Haven, which I'll probably be able to see a lot of my people there. So I can't wait to do sessions and meet people from all walks of life on that side of town as well. So.
That's amazing.
Oh wow, that's yeah.
No, that was
really
here.
amazing.
See, like I was going to 17. Well, I've been at 17.
Yeah, and it closed.
Yeah.
But they're respawning as I forgot the name of it, but they're coming back soon. Okay. They will be in a different area and they are coming back soon. But yeah, Dark Haven is on the south side, and I can't wait to go there and explore and see what they have to offer, and to eventually go into different events outside of the state and outside of the country too, because they have femdom balls and they just had one in London. So
wow. And so it was a lot of young folks there as well in your age range.
Young folks there, people
as well.
younger than
Goddess.
me.
Okay.
Older.
Got you. How about brothers? Was it a lot of brothers there? Was it a portion of
a lot of
brothers?
I had a play scene where I actually co-topped with another dom, and she had brought her submissive, and we had like an audience watching us do a play scene outside. So we definitely did some flogging and some spanking. We absolutely gave this person some words of affirmation and some comforting as we're warming them up. And we tarred and feathered a sub yesterday. So that was pretty
Okay, wait a minute. Now
interesting.
you say flogging and
Yes.
spanking. I know what spanking is, but what's flogging? What is
You
that?
know, like the flogger with the cowhide, it's like fringe strips of leather. It's usually on a stick.
Oh wow.
So
Okay,
I have some
that's
of those.
like a whooping kind of like.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there were doms there who had whips, and you thought it would be a firework. Like I was just immediately jumping. I'm like, "Who's blasting fire?" They're like, "No, that's a whip. Someone's cracking their whip." I said, "Okay, this is too close to home for me. I'm too dark for this. Get me away from it." But
Well,
it was
I mean, see, that's what I was wondering. Honestly, I was wondering, like, man, this sometimes almost is like, okay, we back in slavery times. I mean, y'all ain't gonna be just trying to whoop me and tie me down no more, tie me to nothing and whoop me.
I will say
That's the
that
kind of thing.
yesterday it was a safe environment because they're all about inclusion and all about safety and consent. So if you saw someone there that you wanted to play with, or you were kind of iffy, or there was a negotiation booth where you can actually
Oh,
take your play partner there and you can sign a waiver saying, "Hey, I'm going to be interacting with this person." You go over safe words and different things that you both should be knowing about each other before you interact with a play scene, and what happens during and aftercare and all the other stuff. But yeah,
This is
it was definitely
organized. It's
interesting.
organized ass whooping. This is just a whole nother level of, uh, you
really?
know.
Really,
I'm
really,
saying,
really.
like, we are, what's the word? Consensual,
Yeah,
right? It's just a
Mhm.
whole nother level of consensual activity going on here. That's wow.
it
That's
was
Okay,
pretty
so
interesting.
y'all are talking about um something I've never heard of. I'm gonna be honest. I've never heard of any of this. It's like I feel like I'm sitting here with virgin ears. Like, what in the world? Like, okay, our topic tonight is about sex addiction and dominatrix.
mhm.
I need to know, how do y'all find out about these different type of events before we get into the meat of this episode? Because this is like, I'm sitting here like, "Mm, I don't know about this at all."
So I am friends with another dom, and we were professional friends before we found out that we both were kinky. We actually indulged in a charcuterie board and some good wine and some good drinks at Red Phone Booth, which is an exclusive cigar bar where you need a code to get in.
Mhm.
And we were in Atlanta and we sat down there, and I was just like, "Hey, I'm done with school," because I well, not became a dominatrix, but I continued to become a dominatrix by paying for school. I said, "You know what? I miss doing what I do. I miss sessions. I miss clients. And I have a goal to reach." So I actually finished in September. And that's what we were chatting about. So I was just like, "I'm done with school. Thank you." I mean,
What?
UX design is what I finished my tech boot camp in. And she was just like, "Well, I know that that was a big commitment for you." And she knows my current job where I wear many hats, but I am overworked and underpaid. So I was just like, "Hey, I don't know if you're gonna look at me funny, but I'm a Dom." And she was just like, "Oh." And she showed me like her Fat Life account.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Get out of here. Like, you're one too." Like I finally met somebody that I knew. And before then it was like 3 years before we saw each other, so much has happened and we're catching up and everything. So
Mhm.
she told me that there were different events through FetLife.
Okay.
If you go through the group board, like Area 51, there's a group called Naked, which stands for like North Atlanta Kink Education, and I forgot the D, I think it's a demonstration. So there are different events that these groups have, like in the Atlanta area, in my area, which is like in Cobb County,
Mm.
and that they meet monthly and they have big events. And then there's discussion boards. You can meet with people before you play with them. There's so many options on FetLife. And I just went down a rabbit hole, and she was just like, "You're coming to this event with me." And she did not know prior to me going there last night that that was my first official play session in a group. So it's a lot. It's amazing how FetLife, and they have all these boards and just people that you can connect with that'll be like, "Hey, I know what I like. I know what you like too. Let's do this together. It's safe. And there are other people like you who are out here willing to do it too." So,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know, it's amazing. This is just me and Natasha. You jump into. It's amazing how people are feeling free
Mm-hmm.
to do as they please, and not
Mhm.
not in a way where it's disrespecting or violating anyone, because people feel like, what my boundaries is may not be your boundaries, so just respect it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just to hear of a kink community. Do you think you would have heard of that like 20 years ago? Because maybe it was there, you know.
Very
Was
taboo.
definitely there.
Yeah, it was there, but I'm sure it was more underground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That people are just not willing to talk about their involvement. But now people are willing to talk about their involvement in things that they like,
Absolutely.
and not caring who doesn't like it. That's the biggest thing. So, um, Natasha,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
episode is about not just freedom, but when freedom becomes an addiction.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you know though? How do you know where the crossover happens? How do you know
When
that?
you sold your house away and you living somewhere and you just
Yeah, it's normally and I don't specialize in sex addiction. There is a
Mhm,
controversy about sex addiction, about if it exists or not.
mhm.
Um,
That's the point that
because
I'm getting to, because
Mhm.
because now that everybody is free to express themselves and what they like, is sex addiction still an issue?
it's easy to use it, I think, as a weapon when someone's doing something that you don't want them to be doing.
Mhm,
Now I'll go with, like Ramel said, when you get to a place where it's harming people, you're putting your family in danger, you're putting yourself in
Mhm.
danger, like you are, pulling money out of your house to go, get sex workers and everything like that. When it becomes detrimental to your livelihood and you can no longer function, that's when we have to start looking at what is going on. And there are like people specific to working in sex addiction. It's not very far off from like Alcohol Anonymous. They kind of go through
Mhm.
like the meetings and they do the same thing. But I do think when you bring up these different labels, they start getting used as weapons instead of just letting people do what they want to do and trying to control people. Because I know for a lot of my clients, they are coming into these relationships and realizing I might like this a little more and I might like that a little bit more. And it's real quick to say, well, you're a sex addict. That's why you want to do all this, instead of taking the time to understand. I don't know if you've had some similar experiences, Goddess Hiromi, with some people that you interact with.
Mhm.
What I've noticed is that, like, sex can be used as a comfort blanket for a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
to like have.
Absolutely.
It can be used as a way to like hide a dependency on another person
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to seem as if they're needy, based on like their type of affection. So, it's in us to want to love and be loved and to seek attention and to be adored. But some people just use this as a way to do that with sex, and it can become very addictive and codependent, like on other people. And I've definitely seen that with others, and I'm trying to make healthy ways for my subs to know that, hey, you can come to me for everything, but when it becomes a problem, we need to go ahead and address this because I care about your mental health too. I wouldn't be a good dom if I didn't. So if I feel like you're giving into this too much or you're depending on me to live, we have an issue. And that may be time to go ahead and see a licensed professional in order to digest that, because they may know things that I may not know. And I don't want to tell you something that may hurt you or may hinder you. So
so
That's
from what
good.
you're
That's a
both
good
saying,
point.
go ahead, Jay.
No, I was gonna say that's a good point because definitely sex addiction does exist, and I think most notable we can remember is Tiger Woods was one of them. And when your life becomes unmanageable,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because there's a difference between being freaky deaky, just
yeah,
can't, and being,
yeah.
nympho and all that good stuff, versus your life becomes unmanageable
Mm-hmm.
because of it. Like people use controlled substances, and you're self-medicating with sex, as people do with alcohol and controlled substances and everything else. So it's definitely an addiction that exists out there. But again, it's such under the radar kind of thing that nobody talks about it as much.
I think they
To
talk about it once
We
you
don't
yeah.
we talk
find
about it, but we
a
don't
job.
talk about it.
I mean, I
Well, that's
think
what I'm
people
saying.
talk about
Nobody,
it, but they don't. Yeah, they don't talk about it, but they end
but
up getting in
yeah, because
trouble.
because of the double standard. What I'm saying is people will come out and say, yes, I have a crack addiction. I'm in recovery. Yes, I have an alcohol addiction. I'm in recovery. Nobody comes out and says, hey, listen, I'm a sex addict. I'm in recovery. 'Cause people look at you, oh, damn, you want to screw everybody in the room. Oh, you just been screwing everybody. So I think for fear that double standard there, you don't hear about it, or at least I don't as often. But I definitely believe
And
sex
definitely
addiction
not for
exists.
women, Jay.
And you
Right.
know what?
Exactly.
They also think that when you hear sex addiction, that you are fucking like a rabbit, like 24/7, like
Mhm.
Right.
everything.
That's what I mean. Right. Yeah.
But it can
Right.
also be linked to like love addiction or
Yeah.
romantic obsession with people, codependency, like
Yeah.
Right.
being addicted,
Masturbation.
people being masturbation, pornography, people addicted
Mhm.
to fantasies where it controls like not only their sexual presence but their emotional presence too. Like you may meet somebody who has like these types of addictions and they have like volatile behavior, or they're always angry all the time, or they're always needy to the point that they're actually depressed because they look at sex as being important just as much as food.
Right.
So
Hmm.
it can be, yeah, it's just a lot. I've noticed that within my journey, and I'm just like, they're like, oh goddess, I need to give you this money, I need to see your toes or something like that, or can you please beat me? And I'm like, you are giving me all this money, did you take care of your bills or anything yet? And they're like,
Hmm.
well, that can
Don't
wait. I'm
care
like,
about that,
no,
girl.
no, it
That's the
cannot
addiction.
wait. I'm like, please take care of something before your lights go off. Like that, it's become that prevalent. And these are some of the people that I've noticed it in my virtual subs that I'm not able to see in person.
Mm.
Willing to go ahead
Uh,
and pay, which is electronic prostitution. I mean, call it what you want, a spade is a spade. But I've noticed that like they'll, hey, I need you. And I'm like, yo, I work a full-time job. I have responsibilities and things outside of this too. So for you to be knocking on my door or, in my messages nonstop when I'm in vanilla mode, that's a problem. And I
Mhm.
definitely
right.
had to refer
Mhm.
people to see like a medical professional, not even to see another dom, not even to say, hey, you know what, I need a break. We need a break. Let's just calm
Right.
down, because I know that cutting somebody off cold turkey, especially with the addiction, I know it's not fun for them. But I want them to be able to see someone that they can get help so that if they do decide to indulge in me, it's actually healthy and not like a nuisance or, something that I'm running from.
That's
Wow. Did you
amazing.
say please beat me?
Yeah.
Please beat me. Did you say that, Jay? Please
She
beat me.
said, "Did you? Is that what you
Did
said,
you
Goddess?
say
You
that?
said
Don't
they.
I
do it.
do that.
She
She
said
said
they.
that. She said that
She
because there
said,
people actually ask her to beat
yeah.
them,
She
and they
said. She
like it.
said, yeah. She
I
said,
always
please
used to
beat
say
me.
this. I don't know, and I want you to tell me, the nationality or the of this person, but I just never understood. Black people want to be beat, like
There are Black people that do this kind of thing. Girl, I cannot even explain to you. A man wanted me to put my high heel shoe on his hands and step as hard as I could, all my weight,
yeah, that
140
right there
pounds.
made me think you need some kind of help. I mean,
He
but
need help. He
to
need
each
help.
his own, because I'm like pain. I don't know, pain doesn't resonate with me, so that's not my thing. But when I start thinking about like beatings, I just start to laugh inside because I was like, "Yo, did you like when your mom and your dad used to whip your ass when you was a kid? Did you like that? I
Sometimes they
mean,
did. Sometimes they
I
did.
don't know, but to
I
each his
know I
own.
got one
It
kid
kind of
I know
shocked me.
for
So
sure liked it.
I'm like,
Yes
if you
and
like pain,
no,
you
because
like it.
I try to tell people that not all kinks are linked to trauma. Not all
Mm,
fetishes are linked
Right.
to like childhood trauma or trauma that a person has had. It could be something that they have lacked.
mm-hmm.
And they may have been grown up to the point that they never got in trouble with anything, or they were always the golden child, quote unquote, so that they never were reprimanded for anything. So that now when they're in company of someone who they know that they'll get in trouble for things, they'll act out or brat out or be some ultimate alpha brat where they
Ooh,
just do things to spite you because you need to earn their respect. And that's a turn
that's
on.
kind of scary, actually.
Yeah.
Well, and
So-
also,
Well, I mean, I don't want, I always say this because I don't want anybody to ever listen and be offended, because if you like that, that's what you like. You know what I mean? Natasha and Goddess Hiromi, you should know when to say when. I don't have to encounter it because I have the same life every day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If my husband came home and said he wanted to step on me or something because that's gonna make him feel good, I'm be like, oh hell no, that may make you feel good, but that's not gonna make me feel good. We're gonna have a freaking problem right now. So
we always do communication first before we just
exactly.
try to
I'm into it. Wasn't I just talking about my hip? I was just talking about my hip. You think I want somebody stepping on my hip?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Or grabbing my boob? You know what I mean? I only got a little one. So you want to grab it? No, we can't do that. So I mean, that's not gonna do anything for me, but that's me. You know what I mean? That is me. I don't want to judge anybody's, but I just want to get feedback on how we know we have a problem here. We have a problem because it's not just, you know what, that enhances the sexual experience. Now, like Goddess says, are you sure you paid your bills? That you want to give this whole loot of money to me? To
I don't even think that it's about whether they paid their bills or not. Like, who cares? You know, because we're in a situation where we're in a whole different realm. We're not worried about whether they paid their bills.
But as an ethical dom, I
Yeah.
know that I can't be the good dom to you if I'm running you rampant and like milking you dry, like I'm talking
Right.
figuratively.
But it's your
and
own
that
responsibility. Are we not responsible for ourselves?
a lot of people in this community, I don't want to say a lot of people aren't, but a lot of people need guidance. I will say that. Like there are some people who I know who will not eat, who will not stay on a stable diet for their own personal health, or they're like, you know what, I'm always angry all the time. It's due to work or stress. And sometimes when I talk to my subs, we're not always talking about kink stuff because I feel like in order for you to be a good sub to me, you have to be equally yoked in your personal life. Like if I know that you were a train wreck in your personal life, I don't want to take you on as a sub because how are you going to go ahead and please me if you can't please yourself and at least like do things for you? And I'm not talking about the bare minimum. Like I try to make sure that, you know, my babies are good because they have to be good for me. And it makes me work on my personal life because I can't be a good dom to you if I'm a train wreck too. It's my personal responsibility.
I think that I think that how you present yourself, Goddess Hiromi, is so professional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so professional. And I think that having ethics behind anything you do is always, you know, going to supersede where people are just doing something for money because they're not really into it. You see what I'm saying? Any profession you do something just for money, you don't do it for the love of it, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. It's going to burn out. So, and I think you have to be like that because don't you want to know that your person that you're with, your sub, is somebody who is not in danger of getting hurt? You know,
now we're in a
hurting
play scene.
others?
If we're in a play scene, I'm gonna tell you to run your fucking pockets and open up TV so I can cash
No,
out my
I mean,
check.
I definitely agree with you guys. I agree with you as far as your ethics, but I just feel like, you know, we have our own considerations, and I don't have to worry about what you're doing. If that's for you to worry about. That's just how I
I don't
feel.
give a fuck if you ain't. Mel say, I don't care if you ain't paying your damn mortgage. Give me
If
that
you ain't
money.
paid your mortgage, then you know what, Jay, don't do it.
I look at it this way because
if you're not paying your mortgage, that's not my responsibility. And I don't feel like I have to hold on to that guilt. That's just
But don't
me.
you think it's a difference, Mel? Because this is her profession.
Right. Yeah.
This is her profession.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just, you know, somebody you may be dating. This is her profession. I think that she ethically would have to have that standard because
I do.
The same thing for you, Natasha.
Yeah.
Don't you have to have that standard? Because people will.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you
I
know,
think there's
like
a
if you
standard
just
when it
dating
comes to
somebody,
your-
yeah, I don't care if I got you paid your bills, because if you don't pay your bills, you know, we probably not gonna be together anyway because I ain't trying to take care of you.
look
Can
at
I
it from
say-
this.
I think if it's my profession, it would be a situation where there's a standard. But I'm just talking to y'all about me as Ramel. And this is not my profession.
That's
And
what
so
I
I'm
said.
just talking
Male.
who I am. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck if you ain't paid your mortgage. What?
Think
That's
about
not
it
my
from this way.
profession.
Think
Now,
about
if
it
it was
from
a
this way.
nursing thing and there's a certain thing or whatever, I think I agree. I agree with you
So,
guys.
Goddess,
But
I do have a question for you, Goddess.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a sub that it was just too much pressure applied, like you was just choking the damn shit out of him and or something or whatever, and you're like, okay, I need to stop. He's like, no, don't stop, don't stop, and you like damn near had to call 911. I mean, is there ever
yes.
that has been like, oh Lord, have mercy, something like it just was catastrophic because they just wanted more, you know what I mean? Wanted to be submitted and more submissive or more pain or whatever. Have you ever had that kind of situation?
Almost
He
to the
wanted to be
brink of
choked out.
almost to the brink of 911. No. However, I have been able to identify when a submissive has lied to me about their experience in a play session that we're currently doing. And I found out during the session. So I ran a Merry Pegmas special, which is a play on Merry Christmas, where I did free sessions for like the month of December, but you had to
Oh
go ahead and
wow.
give goddess gifts because they were my Santas. And I collected all my gifts, collected all my money, made a lot of money from it. But in the vetting process, I make sure that I have that before I meet with someone because I'm not just going to go ahead and peg you or, just peg you regularly because this is what you want and this is what you're telling me in my DMs. No, we're going to have a conversation about it. So in the conversation, they had never told me or alluded to me that this was their first time with a Dom. They told me that they had been
Mm.
pegged before, but they did not say that it was not by a Dom. So they were just like, oh
Oh wow.
no. After the session, because we had to stop literally 5 minutes in, I'm trying to get the speed, and this person is telling me that they've experienced this before. So I'm not taking it really easy on you. And then after like 5 minutes later, they're like, okay, okay, okay. And they say their safe word. So I had to stop. And I'm like, what happened during the aftercare process, which is important. I'm like, is everything okay? I said, I thought that you liked it this way. He was just like, no, I always use like my dildo. I never had a person behind it. And I'm like, that is totally different than having like the strength of a human behind you. And that
Right.
could literally get me in trouble. Like, what if something happens to you to the point that we do have to call an ambulance or I have to take you to the
Hmm.
hospital? They're going to ask you what the fuck is going on. You
Exactly.
you playing and sitting on the dildo or inserting it the regular, like, however you insert it, and then me applying force behind you, force on top of you from the side of you, that is totally different. And it's
Wow.
something where we have to have a conversation because you can get sued. I'm not trying to get sued. So,
I know that's right.
but I wanted to touch back on a point previous to this is because when we think of our submissives, a lot of people think that these are these people who just cannot get a partner, they can't get sex, there may be some sort of incel where they're just mad at women, but they're not that mad to not pay for a sex worker. But you have to think of it from this way. A lot of the people who come to me for these fetishes and kinks is because what they seek or what they're trying to reach or get is not offered by a typical person. They can go ahead and get laid by their partner or their wife or, their husband or anybody else. But this sort of kink and this service I sell is exclusive. So when we think about, oh, I'm not sure. Well, you know what? If you have bills, whatever like that, fuck that. No, because if you have a partner, happy wife, happy life. If you're taking care of your bills at home, that means that you are putting some sort of money aside to see me to the point that your partner is not aware of what you're doing. And the moment that they find out that what you are doing is not them and it's me, that's going to be a problem because then I cannot get paid if you are not stable. And if she goes ahead and divorces you, I'm not going to get paid. So it's just
Absolutely.
a circle.
Right.
It's a circle
I
of
got you.
life when it comes to
Like keep that in the budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's like,
Wow.
one hand washes the other, both hand washes the face. I'm
Yeah.
encouraging you to be
Exactly.
proactive about your mental, emotional, and financial health because it helps you.
Right.
And in turn, it helps me too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Look,
Wow.
I say
Wow.
this much. It's with any customer, everybody has some type of customer on this platform. If you're not good to the customer is not coming back.
And they gonna
that's
talk
the
about you.
You know what I mean? It's
That word of
because
mouth.
Mhm.
word of mouth flow says, you know what? Oh, look, she didn't care, you know, and it don't even have to be the truth. We all know that it don't even have to be the truth. But if they feel slighted in some way, you gonna feel the pain of that eventually. I mean,
This is just so weird. You know, Goddess, I was listening to you and you're talking about the safe word, right?
Mhm.
And so have you ever had somebody that just like you say to yourself, why they ain't calling for the safe word now? I am
Yeah.
just beating the holy shit out of you. And you
Yeah.
just like like I wear my
Like,
own
she should
self
have been
out and
called
you
for the
just
safe
can't get
word.
enough. Like,
Like to the
I
point
put
of
all 36 inches up your ass and you ain't saying nothing. Have
to
you
the
just
point
had
of
somebody
to the point of
that you
tears, snot
yeah,
drooling,
like you
sometimes
like, damn, I
blood,
can't do nothing for you. Right. Like,
sometimes bodily fluids or functions that, oh my God, I swear I used the enema, I swear I fleeded. I'm like, yo, it's okay. Like I'm used to bodily fluids and everything within me.
wow.
But to the point that you are shaking or your blood sugar has completely dropped. And I'm like, you are not using your safe word. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep going, but at the same time, it's just like the more I either flog you or the more that I tie you, like I try to like put you in bondage, or the more that I try to peg you, and you are just grinning and just bearing it and just taking it. I try to ease up a little bit.
That's what I was
You
gonna ask you.
have
Have you
to.
just kind of like, okay, I gotta
At
pull
this
back.
point, it's
Yeah.
just like
because
I
one of them
Wow.
know
somebody pride just won't let them say a safe word because they feel it. You
Right.
know, yeah,
I've
you
had
might think I'm a wimp or something, but right now my asshole is hanging out. But I'm gonna still go forward with this because
and it's
I
just
ain't even gonna lie to y'all, Kimmy. I think I told you this story. I had a place where I had a guy, he was a realtor, and I tied him up and forgot he was even there. No safe word, no nothing. He said nothing. He was just there for hours. He said nothing. And I think sometimes people like to push themselves to the brink.
they do.
I think they do that.
It's either a self-confidence issue where it's just like my mama ain't raised no bitch type of thing, or
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
or it's a yeah, I don't want this session to end. And it's just like, okay, well, say yellow then, like extreme yellow. Say orange if you don't want to say red at
Bring
this
your
point.
safe word, baby. And
Or
I
I
forgot he was there for hours.
oh my God.
And somebody went down there and was like, did you know there was a guy down in the closet tied up in, these rubber shorts? And I was like, oh shit, I forgot he was here. And it was days, hours, not days, hours. And I was just like, I don't know what is he waiting on?
There are kinky Airbnbs that have like a lot of equipment. Like it
What?
looks like
Wait a
a
minute, wait a
regular
minute.
house on the outside.
You can't just put that out there and then just keep moving
Let
quickly
me
over
see if
there.
I can find it. But
Okay.
yeah, there's one in Atlanta. It looks like a regular house on the outside. And then like on the
So
inside, there are cages. There's a St. Andrew's cross. Like there's like
oh
different
damn.
like equipment there. And they're usually always booked, like always booked.
Wow.
So I wouldn't mind
So
having to
Goddess, do you ever like hire an ass whooper? I mean, I believe
Look
I could
at
just
Jay.
whoop somebody's ass. Just
I'm
you
done.
know, I I mean, I would just, I could just swing something and just, I'll put on a little costume. Ain't nobody gonna touch me there. But
I'm
I would
done.
just be the ass
Jace,
whooper
I'm
if you
so
just need
done.
somebody to come in and
oh my
give you a
goodness.
break. I mean, if you just need that
Well,
that
Jay,
yesterday I got
you a straight freak, but you just like one of the little secretive freaks.
I would
yesterday I got a chance to co-dom, so I wasn't really doing things by myself, and you don't realize how much it exhausts you until like
right.
after. Like I took to a leave. I had a bagel that I had to force myself to eat, and I got my little medicine water in here. It was strange for me to see the sunlight and just to actually walk. Like being in a play session takes a lot out of you. And even when I had my co-dom with me last night, like we made one of our
Last
subs
night.
15. Yeah, I went to a party. I went to a party last night. So we made one of our subs count to 15, and our sub is a trooper. And then shortly after that, we had another scene where we bought pumpkins from Sprouts, like the little farmers
Count to
market, and we
15 and
made
do what? What
her
do you count to 15?
hmm?
You count to 15. What did he do? I mean, what happened
She had
after
to be on her
15?
knees, like on the ground with like twigs and stuff like that. She had to count to 15. And if she forgot a number, we had to beat her all over again. But she got flogged as she counted the numbers. And she had to tell us thank you. And she held an apple in her mouth, along with bondage tape so it wouldn't fall out. Whenever she dropped the apple, we would beat her again. But the second scene was where we had to, the pumpkins that we bought from Sprouts, we carved them and we gutted them out. We made her wear it. We did not carve out any eyes. So there's some sensory deprivation because she can't see. And we forced her to do the cha-cha slide. And if she moved off of that rug, we went ahead and beat her ass again with our equestrian sticks. But she's used to pain. She loves it. And we tarred and feathered
So
her.
wish I was there last night filming this.
We
Tarred and
tarred
feathered.
and feathered
I'm
her
just
with
keep looking at
molasses and
Natasha's
fake
face.
feathers.
And
And
Natasha, I just know you have something you want to say. I just keep looking at your face because I'm just like,
Oh, like y'all know, I went to sex down south and everything like that.
yeah.
So I'm getting a lot more comfortable. I just, as a sex coach and a therapist, I appreciate like the care, as I listen.
Absolutely.
I appreciate the care because what ends up happening is those people come to people like me.
I was getting ready to say that. I said,
And
when she get finished, it coming down the road to you.
Right. So if they're not being taken care of, because I know that type of relationship has to do with the nurturing and the control piece. And that's really important when you have a dom that I'm going to go above and beyond and not just, tend to your kink and your fetish. I'm going to tend to you as a person and make sure that you're good and taken care of. And so one, I appreciate that. And two, I'm going to slide into Goddess's DMs because it's hard, I think, as a Black woman to find someone because some stuff like this, you may be interested in it and you don't run in that circle. I'm in the circle because it's for resource purposes.
Right.
I'm a kink wear professional, but to be like, you look like me, hook me up so that I can do this too and share the wealth with everybody else. Cause I know I'm not the only one interested.
I would love to like bring you along to like a kink event and we can go to some together. Like we can definitely do that.
Okay, so if y'all go to a kinky event, y'all record it so I can use it on my episode.
That's the thing.
And take me because I
do
need
that, Kim.
Cameras and
you can't record it. Okay, so can y'all like be able to give us like an episode worth of information?
Sure, we can. We can co-do.
As long as there's no pictures of people or anything like that, we can give you a timeline of events. It's very good. Last night I was cleaning up the scene while my co-dom went and hosed her down, our submissive, and shower her, like gave her a shower because everything was sticky and it was feathers and molasses everywhere. It was just a big ass mess. And she gave her proper aftercare. Yeah, we tarred and feathered a sub, but you got to make sure that you give these people aftercare because you can't do shit like that to them and then just push them out into the street.
On their way.
Like you cannot do that. So being a dom also becomes expensive because everybody's aftercare is different. One may like vitamin water, another may like Scooby snacks, another has a favorite blanket that they like, and you have to remove yourself from the scene. So when it was time for my submissive to come back, I had to make sure that no feathers or anything were in that presence because I don't want to remind her of what she just went through because she's coming out of that. So it's a lot of work, but it's fun. It's fun work.
Well, I think this needs to be a part 2 and 3 and 4. You gotta take little baby steps with this. You can't overwhelm people. Just like when fetishes came out, now this one will come out. I think we have to give people just a little bit at a time because I don't want people to just blow through it because a lot of people are interested. And I think that educating them on what is involved, because you can be interested and be afraid because you don't know what's involved. Like I could see someone, and this is just me speaking because I actually know someone who is interested in trying to, dibble and dabble a little bit. But I could see someone going to Natasha, you know what I mean, and trying to explore. And when they get to a certain point, they move over to Goddess. You see what I'm saying? Because they need to know that they're going to be safe. Your wants can get your ass killed. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to whole mop up my ass, but maybe I saw somebody else with one up their ass and they looked like they was having the ball, but I'm just saying, looking at somebody else can get you all messed up. So, I think this was a really good episode. And in closing, Natasha and Goddess, please give out your information, because I think it's so pertinent that people know how to contact you, even if you don't take my advice and self-identify, because that's what I would do. But because I'm a safe, I'm always gonna be safe, and I'm old, so But Natasha, you go first. Give us just a little background and how people can reach you as well.
So if you are looking for a licensed sex therapist in the state of Georgia, I am all virtual. You can email me at info@javerywellness.com. And if you are a Black woman looking for coaching, sex and intimacy coaching, I coach strictly Black women, and you can reach me at Natasha@chantelandco.com.
Thank you, Natasha. Goddess Hiromi, let us know where you can be reached.
Okay.
And look, when I say where you can be reached, where you can be reached.
Okay. So the easiest way, if you do not have a FetLife account, cool. If you know how to use the power of Google, just go ahead and Google search me. Google search Goddess Hiromi, Hiromi. My social media will pop up. It's probably my Twitter, which is like the first link that'll show up. And then I have a link in my bio, which you can book a session. You can go ahead and view my OnlyFans. You can go ahead and send me a tribute. My Amazon wish list is there. And my Dom mentorship intake form is there in case you want to become a Dom on your own and you would like mentorship.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
$100. That's it. There are no additional fees, and you have access to me if you're in the Atlanta area and you want to, or you're doing a session. If you need backup, I will be there also at your disposal. And I send you a PDF, and I tell you what I know from being in this industry since I was 22, and I'm 33 now. But I've been practicing Dom for about 4 years now, and I don't plan on stopping. So whether you want to become one or you want to pay for one, I'm your girl, and I'm here.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
So you're a member of our family, and we will have a part, like I said, a part 3 and 4. Once you guys hook up and tell me where y'all going with it, the keep the cars at, I'm gonna need y'all to take some notes, or whatever. But be prepared
Definitely
for us coming back. So also in closing, I want to hear from Ramel and Jay. So Jay, what is your final thoughts?
Oh, very eye-opening platform, ladies. Glad y'all came on the porch. And Tasha, listen, I'm looking forward to any more tips that I can get from the therapist. I believe in therapy. I'm an advocate for it. So hey, this old dog can learn some new tricks. And Goddess, definitely, if you ever feel like you need to hire an independent contractor, an ass whooper, um, I will be open-minded to that. I just got to be dressed up. I don't need to say nothing, and can't nobody touch me. But no, definitely, seriously, I really appreciate you sharing, because I learned a lot about what you do. But one of the things that's very impressive about me is that I can tell you're a professional at what you're doing,
Absolutely.
and handling everybody with care. So that to me is impressive. So thanks for being on the porch. I really appreciate that.
Mel?
Well, first I want to say thank you, ladies, for being on the porch. Jay, you was a straight freak. I already knew that.
You already know.
Oh my God. This is a newly married man, y'all.
It take one to know one, though, right?
Exactly. But ladies, you have brought professionalism to a thing that I just kept it like regular street. And I thank you guys, both of you, for it. I thank you for that. And so, Kimmy,
yes,
get together. We're going to learn.
We're going to learn today.
But I do appreciate these conversations, and I absolutely appreciate these conversations, and it's been fun.
It has. So thank you again, everybody that joined us and was so transparent, and at ease to have these kind of conversations. You know, a lot of times people are afraid. I'm not afraid of nothing, but but I'm just learning as I go because I don't know none of this stuff that's going on, but I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. So
Girl, bye.
I think I'm gonna go and step on my husband tonight or something,
Lord.
But
Yeah.
he may see us on the news tomorrow, but I'm gonna go try. Thank you guys again for joining us. Join us every week when we drop a new episode on Wednesdays. You can also catch us on any of our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube. We're on everything. So you can always catch us on any of these platforms. So joining me tonight on the platform is
Natasha.
Nice.
Renell.
Anybody next? Goddess Hiromi.
This is JB.
We just talk about we'll go smooth one day, but I'm glad everybody's on here. So I'm your girl Kimmy, and everybody have a great week on purpose. Good night.
Good night.